For the past couple months, Ethan Klein has been in an ongoing feud with Hassan Arbi and his community, a feud that has gone to extreme lengths such as Hassan getting an over hour-long exposed video made on him, Ethan Klein getting falsely investigated by Child Protective Services, and even Idubbbz getting involved. Throughout this ongoing drama, multiple small creators have found themselves pulled into the conflict, one of the most notable being Twitch streamer Frogan. Prior to being a Twitch streamer, Frogan was a public health scientist, though quit her job to stream on Twitch full-time in 2022, and since then has become one of the most hated Twitch streamers. But why? Frogan got her start in the Hassan Arbi community, eventually becoming a moderator for Hassan's Discord server. One of the major controversies Frogan first landed in was against Twitch streamer Mizkif. In 2023, Frogan was nominated a second time for the Rising Star Award at the Streamery Awards. Mizkif was one day live and questioned why Frogan had been nominated twice, making a joke that she should have been nominated for a Falling Star Award instead, something Frogan did not find funny.
Prince Zomalive and Frogan was there last year. How are you a rising star twice? A falling star award? Bro, that'd be so funny. I would clear.
Honestly, okay, it makes me really upset. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to cry, but it really does make me really upset.
Frogan's reaction to Mizkif's lighthearted joke was nothing short of embarrassing and immature. At 26 years old, she struggled to handle a completely harmless joke. Ironically, she went on to win the Rising Star Award, but her response certainly gave off an air of entitlement. Moving forward to late 2023, before Hassan became enemies with Ethan Klein, the two hosted a show called The Leftovers. And because Frogan was associated with Hassan, Ethan knew who she was. The Leftovers show then ended after a disagreement between Hassan and Ethan regarding differing perspectives on Israel's political future. Prior to the show ending on October 7th, Israel was attacked by Hamas. Whilst this was happening, Frogan tweeted, "Leftists preach and foam at the mouth at the thought of a revolution happening in America, but as soon as it happens in the Middle East, what they're doing is wrong." Ethan Klein unfollowed Frogan shortly after she made this tweet, his reasoning being, "People are talking about me unfollowing Frogan, so I'll explain why, since she wants to talk about it. Murdering children and burning families alive in their safe houses is not a revolution, it's a massacre, and if you think that's what a revolution is supposed to look like, I'm terrified for your idea of an American revolution." Frogan then had a meltdown on her Discord server, accusing Ethan of unfollowing her due to her being pro-Palestinian. Fast forward to May 2024, Hassan and several other content creators promoted a charity to raise money for Palestinian children. A Twitch streamer named Ludwick one day announced on his stream that he did not want to be directly involved with the charity, but had still donated $10,000 to a Palestinian cause.
Also, by the way, I don't know if you guys have seen, there's quite a few creators. I know Jarvis, Eddie Burback, I think Hassan. There's a bunch of creators who are doing a charity stream for, I think it's the PCRF, Palestinian Children's Refugee Fund. I want to say that's right. I didn't join it because I find ultimately, like, if I were to do a charity thing where the charity thing relies on your donations, it should be something where like 95% of people feel good and are down for it. And like ultimately, regardless of what you think, that is not the situation here. So I personally donated 10K. Because I think it is worthwhile. And if you guys got some extra bread, I would recommend you donate. But I won't throw it on you, you know what I mean?
This livestream caught the eyes of Frogan, who reacted to the clip whilst live and for some reason decided to racially insult Ludwick by continuously calling him a cracker.
No thanks. And some people are gonna say that, you know what I mean? That's why it's the
This is a cracker take.
difference between like, hey, I can put my money where my mouth is, but I don't need to put your money there. I don't need to enter a debate about whether that's worthwhile.
Frogan next, for some reason, ranted about how YouTube and Twitch creators weren't talking about the war in Gaza.
Thinking about it, like, think of the Twitch streamers that haven't said shit about Palestine. Think about the Twitch streamers that haven't, or like streamers in general. We're gonna go to YouTube as well. YouTube and Twitch streamers that haven't said shit about Palestine until engagement was threatened.
I mean, do we really need to hear what creators like Mr. Beast have to say about real-world conflicts? No one should feel pressured to speak on issues they don't fully understand or aren't qualified to address, especially influencers. Frogan received backlash for this unhinged rant, prompting her to address the situation on a livestream, where she doubled down, arguing that her comments on Ludwick were not racist.
Like, you saw the clip, and I literally tweeted, okay? I didn't say racist. Cracker isn't racist! It's not racist! Are you guys stupid? Oh my god! God. If you get your feelings hurt by Cracker, then you know what? Like, literally go back to, like, I don't know what to tell you, bro.
It's interesting how the idea of racism toward white people seems to completely disappear in Frogan's mind. Newsflash, Frogan, if you're targeting a race with hate, that's literally the definition of racism. Funnily enough, this isn't the first time Frogan's ranted about white people before. White people are so insane, I wish I was as smooth-brained as people on this website. I'm gonna start asking white people if they condemn every mass shooting that ever happens. Unfortunately, Frogan's unhinged rants would continue and worsen in the future. October 2024, while streaming, Frogan went on a rant about the US military, which quickly led to significant backlash.
I will never have any pity for any soldiers. US military? Who? I hope you get PTSD. I do, the ones I'm like whatever about the US soldiers are the ones that like acknowledge that like what they did was wrong. They didn't know back then. Whatever. You're a good person in my book. But like any other motherfucker, you're joining them. You're like, oh my god, I want my Camaro, no student loans. Fuck you. I hope you get PTSD, and I hope you get no health insurance when you get back into America.
As a political streamer, it's important to be mindful and respectful when discussing sensitive topics. However, the problem with Frogan is she often speaks impulsively, blurting out controversial statements without even thinking. Frogan next worsened the backlash by doubling down on her statement in her next live stream.
And I hope you get no health insurance when you get back into America. And they posted it in my head. I'm like, base? Base? Like, am I supposed to be like, I'm not walking back on it. I still fucking agree with it. Base?
The backlash escalated to the point where Frogan issued an apology on Twitter. The beginning of the clip was worded poorly, and I do apologize for that. I go on to clarify in the clip that I do not mean all military, but specifically those with no remorse. What I said was out of frustration, as they are currently bombing my family in the name of liberation. I realize that wishing people harm isn't the best way to talk about these issues, and that I could have talked about these topics in a more sensitive way. Following this, Frogan shared direct messages from Twitter users attacking her, and though I disavow the messages she received, to me, Frogan sharing her DMs of people attacking her made it seem like she was trying to play the victim. Ultimately, Frogan received a 30-day Twitch suspension for her comments on the US military, and spent the day on Twitter retweeting statements like, "Twitch just banned some of the most prominent Middle Eastern voices simply for using their platform to speak about Palestine. Twitch, you're a racist platform and you don't even try to hide it." When in actuality, Frogan was banned for her comments on the US military.
Cause like, you know, you see those people at the top. I don't know if I believe in karma. You know what I mean? And I'm like, if I had to lose my career over this bullshit, at least I can say I was consistent in my views, and I have been consistently against genocide, and it consistently uplifted the Palestinian people. And I feel like such a bitch for crying, but it's just like you sit and reflect, and it's just like, what the f, dude? There are some days I just sit and I'm just like, I'm like, what did I do to deserve this? You know what I mean?
Uplifted? You just yap at a mic all day. She's done absolutely nothing but endlessly annoy people and grandstand over oppression against other people across the globe, just like her master Hassan. Fuck these LARPers, this content era needs to end now. On the 16th of April, Idubbbz made a content cop on Ethan Klein. Now, if you saw my previous video on Idubbbz, you would know I wasn't the biggest fan of Ian's video. Well, Frogan was involved in the making of the content cop, and once it was released, made several tweets about it where, once again, her takes were bad. Ethan Klein wants to defend Muslims because he's being held accountable in the content cop for continuously being a vile person. Idubbbz has apologized, shown genuine change over the last decade, and is literally married to a Muslim woman, by the way, because he's being held accountable in the content cop. Backstabbing a friend of 8 to 10 years is accountable now. Being a vile person who said American soldiers deserve PTSD, a day later said her statement was based and has yet to apologize sincerely. Shown genuine change over the last decade. Not in a good way, look at the Froggy Fresh situation. Muslim woman? She's 8% and I'm pretty sure she made a video claiming she left it half a decade ago. Frogan has built a reputation for being impulsive and outspoken, often doubling down on controversial statements instead of addressing criticism thoughtfully. Over time, she's become a central figure in online drama, reacting emotionally to conflicts rather than engaging in meaningful discussion. From feuds with streamers like Ludwick and Ethan Klein to her political commentary, she frequently struggles to acknowledge when she's gone too far. Instead, she tends to reinforce her own views and portray herself as a victim when faced with backlash. In the end, her unfiltered approach has made her one of Twitch's most divisive personalities, more known for controversy than constructive conversation.